we're trying to complicate things when we can simplify things?
Ego.
Ego.
People's ego gets in the way. You know, I often say that you're in trouble when your ego eats your empathy instead of your empathy eating your ego. And I think that's really important that we think about that. And then I think awareness, you know, I don't know if I've shared it with you before, but I have a little notepad here that I carry around, and on the front of my notepad here, I have a little sticker, and it says, "Am I being the person I want to be right now?" And then it says, "So who is that person?" And I have a list of the person I want to be, and I have to keep reminding myself of this, because the world will try and make us something that we're not. So my list says, who is that person? It says, I want to be grateful, I want to be caring, I want to be empathetic and reasonable, I want to be a listener, I want to be fact-based, I want to have a balanced opinion, I want to be very curious, I want to be a learner. There's where the connection comes to wisdom. And I want to throw sunshine, not a shadow. And I've had that little list on my notebook for I don't know how many years. And there would not be a day goes by that I don't look at that, probably several times, because we have to remind ourselves that who do we want to be our best person, without the world dragging us off into a place we don't want to be, because the world will do that.
What have you been doing to help you to have that clarity in life?
For me, one of the best activities I ever undertook was shortly after reading Stephen Covey's The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I took one step that has impacted my life ever since, and that was in his chapter, Begin with the End in Mind, he talked about writing a personal mission statement. He said, you know, companies have mission statements, they're North Star to guide them, but most people never have anything like that. They just live paycheck to paycheck or vacation to vacation. So I sat down, and that was more than 30 years ago, and I wrote the personal mission statement. And then I would have it pop up on a task every day, Monday through Friday at work, one section of it to read. Now, every morning, as soon as I get up and I go downstairs, I have it on an app that I can listen to. And I think that just listening to it or reading it almost every single day for more than 30 years, it just seeps into your soul. And for me, the opening statement is that when I die, my goal is I want to hear God say, well done. Well done, good and faithful servant. You were faithful with a few things. I'm going to put you in charge of many things. Enter into the joy of your master. And I don't do that in I'm working my way to heaven or I'm earning anything. No, I just want to be pleasing to God like I would want to be pleasing to my wife or to my daughter. I don't have to earn anything from any of them, and I don't have to earn anything from God. But in gratitude to how he's changed my life, I want to be pleasing to him. So that opening statement, and then I go in and I talk about my faith, family, personal well-being, career, but that is like my North Star.
Bring me back to that morning 30 years ago when you wrote that personal statement, because that's very important for people to be able to have their own personal statement also in their lives, right, Brian? Help us to share back, what did you do on that morning for you to come up with that personal statement yourself?
You're testing my memory. 30 years ago, I don't know that I remember the exact things, but I do know this, that my wife and I, we were going through marital issues. Everybody, you know, if you stay together long enough, you're going to have issues that you're dealing with. And we were dealing with some really significant issues. And so reading that book, I was trying to, you know, get some stability, I guess. And as I read that about the mission statement, it made sense. And I was convicted that, you know, I was one of those people, you know, kind of living day to day, trying to be a good person, trying to do, you know, right things, but didn't have something that I was working toward. And so I thought, you know, if I can come close to being the person that I lay out here, that will not only benefit me, it will benefit my wife and our relationship. And then eventually our daughter came along, and it's had benefit for her as well. So I think that's really what the catalyst was, you know, there were just some hard issues going on, and I felt like this could probably help me in dealing with those.